guys.
Neil, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
And Glenn, just for your information, anyone can record. So if you know I'm going to screw up, you can record too.
Yes, sir, Jim.
Yeah, the question is, how do they determine the heavy metals leaving the body? Do they do the urine test? Is that it?
They can do, we have done the urine test. We've actually done double-blind studies with major groups that show it doing it. We did one with minors that was unbelievable.
But I mean, if one were to take this, about how long would it be before an evaluation is done to determine that heavy metals have left? And the reason I'm saying that is because, my mind, the gray cells get foggier and foggier. And I think that has a lot to do with the fact that I've been practicing dentistry for so many years, working with amalgam, mercury. And years ago, we were very uncareful with it.
Right.
And I'm curious from what you said. That's all I didn't.
Well, most people have they'll start immediately reducing. Within 30 days, you should feel a major difference in your body.
Oh.
You'll feel it in your alertness. It really does work extremely well. I can send you, James. I have a 7-minute video by the biochemist who invented it. It explains exactly how it works. I'd be happy to send it to you.
Well, that would be good. Thank you. Thank you, Neil.
Very cool. Well, thanks, Neil. We appreciate it.
Neil.
And let's move on to an exciting topic. And Glenn Ritt is going to talk to us about the awards that are received.
Good morning, everybody. We had quite a weekend. We basically swept all the awards at the 2019-20 district awards ceremony among 64 clubs. I'll go real fast. I saw Jim Camburn in the audience. I don't know if you can see this, but we got acknowledged. This is acknowledgement for our support of End Polio Now. So our entire Polio Plus efforts were recognized, and that's pretty cool. So we have a certificate for that. We received the, I'll do it this way. We have a citation and a patch for Platinum Governor's Distinction Award. That's what we got there. We received the award, the gold medal for taking action. And the reason that these are important, these are 2 of the 3 components of winning the district's governor's bell, which you see there. It's really heavy. It's like the Stanley Cup. And there it is. Okay, everybody see it? It was established by the district in 2013, and the 6 previous years, the Las Vegas Club won it 3 times, the San Marino Club won it twice, and the Claremont Club won it the other time. What's exciting about us winning the governor's bell is that we were a small club before this year. Our first year of being a large club made us qualify for winning in the large club category. So we're ahead of clubs like Pasadena with hundreds of members, and our growth is frankly maybe the fastest growing club in certainly the region, and maybe one of the 2 or 3 fastest growing clubs in the country. More exciting is that we have managed to retain all our members in terms of numbers and continue to be vital, because at the end of the day, it's about our commitment to community, which is reflected in our retention numbers as much as our growth numbers. The 3rd component of the governor's bell is the governor herself looking at all the work of all the clubs and adding that as the 3rd leg of the governor's bell. At the end of the day, it's about connecting leaders, connecting families, connecting professionally, and connecting community. You add up those 4 connectors, and it is prescient that a year and a half ago, we developed the brand of community commerce and camaraderie. So we get to keep the bell for a year. Hopefully, we'll physically be able to show it off at live meetings soon. And at the end of the day, we get to at least figure out what to do with all of our patches. So everybody should be so proud of what we've accomplished. And awards are great, but at the end of the day, we have to get out there and serve our community in creative and dynamic ways, especially amid the pandemic. One irony, by winning the award for Polio Plus, we only missed one of all the criteria. And at the end of the day, there are about 20 criteria. The only criteria we missed, and it didn't make any difference because we had so many winners, was $100 per capita for the Rotary fund. And that's something I know the club is working on this year to achieve. So we can win it again next year.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And congratulations, President Glenn Ritt, for that year of major accomplishments. It's an award for the whole club because the whole club.
The whole club. It's the whole club.
Right. I thought it was especially touching when Michael Soden, who will be our district governor in 22-23, got up and told the group that his wife had polio. And so he has a personal interest in that cause. It was a proud moment. All right. Shall we go on to our speaker? And Pat Riley is going to introduce Sarah.
Can everybody hear me? I'm not sure if I'm
Yes.
on mute.
Yep.
Oh,
You're loud and
good.
clear.
Good, excellent. Well, good morning, everyone. Sarah Tavernati is here to speak with us today. She is the founder of Bloom Academy, which is a very unusual, interesting school. It's going to, I think, spark a lot of interesting ideas about education and how children learn. And so we'll just cut straight to the chase. I'd like to welcome Sarah. Everyone, please give her a round of applause.
Thank you. And thank you for having me, you guys. I was really excited for this. And thank you for my coffee mug. It's so beautiful, and I've been drinking out of it since I got it. So thank you so much.
That's great. Jill Branson came up with the idea of sending a couple of coffee mugs to our speaker ahead of the speaking engagement. And Jill is one of our networking experts, and she's proven it again.
Well, yeah, I thought it was such a beautiful gesture with the note, and yeah, it's hanging up with all my Bloom stuff in my house right now. So thank you so much. It was really lovely to receive. I have a PowerPoint. Pat, I don't know, am I presenting that or?
No, I believe Michael has a copy of it.
Oh, okay, cool. And just to verify, I have about 10 minutes, right?
That's fine. That's fine. Yes.
Okay. Cool. Well, while he gets that up, I also didn't want to forget to thank you guys a few years too late when my classroom burned down, what, in 2000?
Yes.
Who knows? For donating to kind of helping us get back on our feet. That was really, really appreciated. And it was a great lesson for my kids to see how communities can pull together and support each other. So thank you for that as well. That was very heartwarming. Okay. I have my timer sitting next to me because I can talk.
Oh, we have a sergeant at arms that's really good. So don't worry about that.
Okay. So I'm Sarah Tavernetti, the founder of Bloom Academy. Before I dig in a bit, I will just give a brief background of how I ended up creating Bloom. You can do the next slide. So I was an elementary school teacher here in CCSD. I taught second grade for 6 years. Over the course of teaching, I started questioning if I was meant to be a teacher because the things that I was supposed to care about, I really didn't. I didn't care about homework or uniforms or the curriculum or assessments. I really just wanted to connect with my kids, and I saw their curiosities and their spark and excitement for life. And I really wanted to hone in on that, but with the rigidness of time and standards, made it really difficult to do that. So I started implementing different things in my classroom that I believed mattered more. Certain things like flexible seating. So if you look at that picture on the right, you see some of my kids sitting on the floor, sitting on a stool, standing up. The idea was that I wanted to empower them to figure out, well, how do you learn best? How do you focus best? So we didn't have assigned seats. I didn't tell them where to sit. They made that decision. So I would have kids sitting in my chair, kids sitting under a table, on a table. As long as it was safe and didn't bother anybody else, they were allowed to do it. I implemented independent learning time, which was about an hour every day where they could learn about anything they wanted. They could use any materials or resources in the classroom. I was there if they needed me. If they didn't need me, that was cool too. I would just get to learn with them. And it was really neat to see them take initiative, and they would come back with a song they wrote or a new insect they created, or they wrote a play, or they would just sit and talk. But it was it was their most favorite time of the day because they were in charge of what they were doing. I didn't give homework. There's a lot of research that shows that homework actually doesn't benefit children until they're in high school. And, I figured these kids are in a classroom for 8 hours a day, and the last thing that they want to do when they get home is sit and do more work. So, I would really empower my kids to go play, interact with your family. And I would tell the parents, ask them about their day, have conversations, because that's really where the meaning and the connections come from. Choice, and created a lot of choice time. So even outside of independent learning, it was during writer and reader workshop. Rather than me telling them what to read or telling them what to write about, I would say, write about whatever is on your mind, create a story, whatever you want it to be. And rather than worrying about the content, we were worrying more about strategies, different things good writers do when they write. Use it if you feel confident in it. And if not, that's okay. And then I became a really big advocate for my children. So in regards to grades and behavior, reminding parents they're 7. It's okay if they have a C or a D. Have they grown? Do you see a difference in their behavior? Then it's fine, relax. But there is a lot of pressure around grades and reports. Next slide, please. So although I was implementing these things in my classroom, I did notice there was still an issue. I noticed a lot of their social emotional needs were not being met. Essential skills weren't being prioritized. Some like mindfulness, decision-making, critical thinking, stress management. I noticed there was a lot of unreasonable amounts of stress on my kids and on the staff and on the parents. I realized that they were not connecting to what they were learning. They had a negative mindset towards learning. Each year that progressed, I noticed my kids had a more difficult time being creative thinkers and being independent thinkers. For that writer's workshop, go write about anything you want. They had no clue where to even begin, which was really sad because at 7 and 8 is when they're creative and their minds are thinking all these weird things and they want to share it. But unfortunately, they had lost the ability to tap into that. And then another one was they had issues transitioning to 3rd grade because 3rd grade is much more rigid, a lot more testing, and they were kind of stripped of this responsibility and freedom that I'd given them. So it made it really difficult for them in the following years. So it was when I decided, well, it's not working the way I thought, so I'm just going to resign from the school district. And my goal is going to be to create an educational space that is aligned with my beliefs and that is consistent so that my kids aren't having to go back and forth between these different pedagogies. So next slide, please. I went to this conference in Portland, put on by Arrow, which is an organization all geared towards discussing alternative forms of education. And one of the biggest topics was, why are schools the way that they are? And we talked about how the school systems have been essentially unchanged for over 200 years. They were created with the purpose of serving the industrial age. So all these things, testing and grading, sorting kids by age and academic talent, imposing this authoritarian order, it was all goal towards creating workers who were obedient and efficient because that was what we needed then. Next slide, please. But as society has evolved, we no longer need obedient and efficient workers. We need workers who are innovative, who are problem solvers, who are authentic and passionate. And I can tell you firsthand that that's not what's being created in the school system, no matter how incredible the teachers are. And I've seen some mind-blowing educators. That's not what we're creating. So next slide, please. I also learned of self-directed education. And the definition is education that derives from the self-chosen activities and life experiences of the person becoming educated, whether or not those activities were chosen deliberately for the purpose of education. So to unpack that a little bit more, next slide, please. This incredible psychologist, Peter Gray, talks about the 6 conditions of self-directed learning. And so the first is a clear understanding that children are responsible for their own education. And that's not to say that they're going into it with the mindset of, today I'm going to educate myself on this, but it's rather their natural desire for autonomy and their natural curiosity is what's leading them to educate themselves. The next one is the unlimited opportunity for children to play, explore, and pursue their own interests. And that also includes deciding who they're interacting with, when they're interacting, and it requires little interference from adults. The third is the opportunity, one's everywhere. Anyway, the third is the opportunity to play with the tools of the culture. So for us, that looks like technology, cooking tools, art, whatever it is that we see that is part of our culture. The fourth is access to a variety of caring adults who are helpers, not judges. So adults who are genuinely there for the well-being of the child, not to see what score they'll get on the next test. The fifth is free age mixing among children and adolescents. So with self-directed learning, children of all ages are interacting with each other. Adults are interacting with children. They're not grouped according to age or ability. And the last one is the immersion in a healthy community with egalitarian values. So kids are part of this decision-making process. Their opinions and their ideas are valued and encouraged and even implemented so that they can experience being part of a positive social community. Next slide, please. So with self-directed education, there's no predetermined curriculum. So the kids show up and I'm not saying, okay, in reading today, we're doing this, and in math, we're doing this. It's the idea that learning happens through experience, exposure, observation, and activities that are guided by the child's own curiosities and inclinations. With self-directed learning, we're operating with the belief that your child will learn when they're ready and when it's relevant to them, and it will require no tricks or coercion from us or any other adult. And an important thing is that children have the right to withdraw from any activity that is not working for them. So it's a term that they often use is like consensual education. Next, please. So what you should know about Bloom, very quickly, my business partner and I did a month-long trip on the East Coast to visit 12 different self-directed learning centers because nothing like this exists in Las Vegas and we had never seen it. So we kind of took what we saw that we really thought would work in our community and our experiences and kind of mushed them together to create Bloom. And so next slide, please. What you need to know is that we are Las Vegas's first self-directed learning center. We're meant to be an alternative to conventional school, not a supplement. We believe that when your children are with us, that's education. They don't need to be doing all these extra curricular activities unless that's what they feel called to do. We're open for children ages 5 to 11 for our first 6 months. Any child whose academic or social emotional needs are not presently being met in conventional school. We're open 5 days a week following the CCSD academic calendar. The children who come to us will be registered as homeschoolers because that's the only way to fully implement a self-directed environment, meaning no predetermined curriculum, and we also don't participate in the state tests. And the last part is we are a 501c3. Next, please. Our mission statement is that we exist to celebrate and nurture the natural curiosity of every child through self-directed education. Next slide. And we kind of piggybacked off of Peter Gray's core principles of self-directed learning and created our own, just because what we're doing is so new to Las Vegas. We felt that this helps kind of break it down a bit. So we believe children are natural learners. They don't need to be tricked or forced into learning. We believe that they should be in charge of their own learning. We believe that learning happens anywhere at any time, not just when they're at Bloom, not when they're at school. It happens anywhere. We believe that children should have unlimited opportunities to play, make mistakes, and develop their passions. We believe that they should be given opportunities to explore and create using tools of our culture. We believe that adults are a support system for children and their curiosities, interests, and learning. We believe that children learn in a diverse environment surrounded by people of various ages, interests, and abilities. And we believe they should be part of a community that values their ideas, opinions, and personalities. Next page. So what does learning look like? It can look like any of these. Independent study. So if a child knows what they want to do that day and they don't feel that they need any assistance from us or any other kids there, then they're off and they're doing it. It could look like one-on-one help or co-learning, so we can learn with them, or maybe two children are learning about a topic together. We will offer workshops, so we'll offer pop-up workshops, which are geared towards their interests. So if a child says, hey, this was one we saw on the East Coast, sushi making. The child really wanted to learn how to make sushi, and a couple of other kids were like, yeah, that'd be neat. So they found somebody in the community who can make sushi, and they created a workshop around it. We'll also have weekly workshops, which will give opportunities to dive a bit deeper into different topics. Learning can look like play and socialization. We're really big advocates on play-based learning and the skills that are developed when children are given time to just free play. And then field trips, we'll be doing a lot of those. Libraries, grocery stores, businesses, Red Rock, wherever they feel called to go. Next slide, please. This is one of my favorite pictures. I'm working with this little girl right now who will be attending Bloom, and she's super into baking, loves it. So one day she's baking cupcakes, and I kind of started taking mental notes about what skills are being developed right now. And so these were just some of the things that were popping up in my head that are really important life skills that were being taught implicitly through something she was actually enjoying doing. Fractions, I can tell you, I teach fractions. Oh my gosh, is it like a struggle for some kids? And she completely got it because it was hands-on and she was engaged. So it's a really proficient way of teaching these skills that they need to know. Next slide, please. There are some initial misconceptions or kind of setbacks for people learning about this for the first time. The first is that freedom equals chaos, and that is not it. If you were to walk in Bloom, you won't see a bunch of kids screaming, running around, throwing things. The idea is that you have the freedom to do what feels right for you as long as it doesn't infringe upon the freedom of someone else. So if it's not causing a problem for anybody else, go for it. But if I see that you're walking outside on the street by yourself, I'm like, hey, that's bothering me. Can we talk about that? So it's not chaotic. It's messy, and it's probably louder than what you would see in a classroom, but there's this underlying structure there that's really important to the success of self-directed learning. The second one is my child will only want to play video games or sit on their phones all day. This is a really big one, I think, especially in our day and age. And this I probably won't touch on right now, but I'm happy to, just because I'll talk about it for a long time. But this is something we're aware of, and we do have a solution. The third is that if children aren't being explicitly taught a skill or a concept, they'll never learn it. Again, that's a misconception. That picture kind of proves that these skills are ingrained in everything that we do. And also, children want to be a part of the world they live in. They want to learn how to read. They want to know how to write. They want to participate. They want to learn how to do these things. They're going to want to do it when they decide it's time and when it's relevant to them. The fourth is that if my child doesn't go the conventional route of schooling, they won't be able to get into college. And that's a huge one for parents. Next slide, please. And that's also a misconception. One of the places we visited did a study on the students that attended their center, and they found that 74% of the students who went to their school for all 4 years of high school went on to college. And that 91% of students who attended their school for their entire educational career also went on to college. So college is still an option. Now more than ever, colleges are really open to homeschoolers and what this is called is kind of unschoolers. So children who've gone an alternative route of educating themselves. There's multiple ways to address college and four-year universities. The last, two more slides. Next one, how are we funded? So we do have tuition. It's with no attendance requirements for homeschoolers. They can kind of be flexible as to how many days per week they want to come, and if they want it to be a full or half day. We do offer a bunch of financial aid because we will never ever turn a family away because of a financial reason. So we offer different opportunities for them. Sponsorships are one, where we offer an individual and organization can sponsor a child, as well as a volunteer exchange where parents can volunteer their time or resources or help host workshops, whatever it may be, in return for a reduced tuition. Fundraisers, that's a really big one for us. It's been quite the journey organizing fundraisers because I've never done that before. But we do have those. We are community and volunteer based. So the only staff members are myself and my business partner. Anybody who hosts a workshop is volunteering their time. We have luminaries, which are just monthly donors. And then we're also in the process of applying for the District 5300 matching grant, which would be a huge help for us. Next slide, and this, I just want to end it on this. We did a community study for that research, or for the Rotary grant. And this was a quote from somebody in the focus group. She said, development of critical skill or critical thinking is lacking. With such a preset curriculum and standardized responses and tests, this doesn't allow the individual mind to flourish. These are the actual leaders of our future, and they are being force-fed what and how to think instead of nurturing their innate abilities, which can potentially bring about innovative solutions for humanity. Thought that was pretty relevant for Rotary since that's what we're all about. And that's it. I'm done.
Oh, Sarah, this is just wonderful. And if you didn't pick it up during the presentation, Sarah is a Rotarian. Can you tell?
I am. Yeah. Yeah. Rotary has been such a big part of my life. You know, my mom's been in Rotary since I think I was, Mom, 1. So I've always been involved. But yeah, this year I became an actual member. So I'm honored. I'm truly honored to be a part of this.
And we had a question come in from Diane Cabral. Where do you find your students?
So they find us. We have had a lot of people just through word of mouth reach out to us. A lot of them are currently in the homeschooling community and are familiar with this philosophy and are just excited to have a place that embodies that. And then our goal, just coming from conventional schools, I really want to help get kids out of the system who just aren't thriving. So, and I mean, now, especially with distance learning, it's actually a lot easier than we anticipated. But it is word of mouth, and it's speaking to counselors at different schools in the area saying, hey, this is an option. We're here. We exist. If there's any students you think that would benefit from our program, we'd love to meet with them.
How many students do you have right now, Sarah?
So we haven't opened enrollment quite yet, but on our wait list, we have about 17 families.
I have a question, Sarah.
Sure.
How does this differ from the Montessori technique? It smacks a great deal of Montessori, and being from Greenwich, where Montessori started, I'm somewhat familiar with it.
Okay. Yeah, so Montessori is great. Montessori is a form of alternative education. We differ because Montessori is even still quite a bit structured, where they're giving the children the materials and they have to complete a certain task. This is what these materials are for. Versus us, we could say, hey, we found these materials. What can you do with it? So it's Montessori is still structured.
Audio.
Oh, did it?
No, we've got
No,
you.
we got it.
Oh, okay. So Montessori is still quite a bit more structured than we are.
Oh.
And Montessori also typically only goes up to age 6.
Right.
Yeah.
Sarah,
But Montessori is wonderful and very developmentally aligned. So we appreciate that.
Sarah, this is Dave Paget. How are you? Thank you for
Hey,
your
Dave,
presentation.
nice to see you.
Congratulations on all your efforts. I think they're pretty amazing.
Thank you so much.
I have a coworker whose wife is an incredible teacher. I mean, incredible.
Oh.
But obviously this year I've learned and listened to the horror stories of what teachers are facing with this distance learning. And she obviously works for CCSD. My question is, are you ever looking to expand? Are you ever looking for maybe other teachers that felt the same way you did and were wanting to explore alternatives? And what, you know, are you, I was just thinking to myself, oh my God, I'd love to tell Jennifer about this, you know? So I'm just curious your thoughts on that.
Yeah, so something that we found when we did our tour on the East Coast is one of the biggest pieces of advice is they're like, don't get too big, because part of what we're doing is all about relationship building, and it becomes increasingly harder to do the bigger you get, which we see in schools all the time. But we would love to, and we've talked about once we're kind of started, is having different, not becoming a franchise by any means, but creating opportunities for other people to create something like this. We are, like I said, a nonprofit, and we're a baby nonprofit just starting off. And so if we financially could support else coming on board, we would be so inclined to do that. But at this moment, we're not able to do that. But hopefully in the few years, we would love to expand and make this something more common in the city.
And Sarah, we had another question come in from Neil Roth. Do you plan to go through high school at some point?
We do, yeah. So the goal is that the kids who come to us will be able to kind of grow with us. So we'll expand our age range each year that we're open. So we're hopefully opening January, and we'll be open till May. So that'll be ages 5 to 11. And then the following school year would be 5 to 13, and then 5 to 15. My experiences with elementary, my business partner, she actually taught at a Montessori school. So she works with younger kids as well. And we acknowledge that those high school age students, as they're getting ready to prepare to spread their wings and go make amazing things with their life, need a bit more support than we would be willing to give our first few years being open. So we're easing our way, but yes, short answer, yes.
That's great. Sarah, would you please put your contact information in the chat so that if anyone has further questions or wants to reach you, they can.
Yeah.
Linda?
Yes.
So I just wanted to add the grant that Sarah was talking about from 5,300 is a matching grant, and she has to raise $15,000. It's being run through the LV After Hours Charitable Fund. She's halfway there. So if you know anybody who might be interested in contributing to help her get to that $15,000, that would be huge.
Well, we just happen to have some of the members of the board of directors of the Las Vegas Summerlin Foundation on the call this morning.
Oh,
and perhaps they would be so kind as to reach out to Sarah to tell her the steps she needs to go through to apply for a grant from our foundation.
I did see, hi, Robert. I recognize you. Nice to see you. So the venue, great question. My mom has been a blessing to this because she is my person I call whenever I'm freaking out. We are hoping to be downtown. We're having a current issue with the city. They want to classify us as a school, which after I just got done explaining with you guys, we are not a school. We don't look like a school. We don't have the same requirements as a school. So I'm currently going back and forth with them, trying to figure out where we could be zoned. But should everything go the way we want it, there's this really cute space on 6th Street that would just be the perfect home for us for the first few years. So
excellent. Well, thank you very much, Sarah, and I hope that we can have you back further down the road to see how things are going.
Yes, I would love that.
And good luck to you.
Thank you.
We need to move on with our program because we have a craft talk this morning from Diane Cabral. We see Diane's beautiful pictures on Instagram and Facebook of what she's doing. So take it away, Diane. Diane, we're not hearing you.
Diane, you're muted.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, good. Most all of you know me. I'm Diane Cabral, and I've been in this Rotary Club for 20 plus years. I was president 2010-11, and I'm originally from Southern California and moved here 40 plus years ago. I'm married to David Cabral, and we have 2 sons, Christopher and Stephen, and 2 wonderful standard poodles, Chloe and Chesney. And I started out in Las Vegas in construction. I worked for a general contractor here for over 12 years, which is Martin Harris Construction. And after I left the contracting field, I went to design school and got into interior design. So I am currently a registered interior designer with the Nevada State Architecture Board. And what that enables me to do is I'm licensed to do commercial projects, and I can actually stamp plans just like an architect. I don't do that a lot because most of the projects I work on are with contractors and architects. So Mike, can you show my pictures? Michael? Okay, all right, there you go. This was a project that I worked on last year at Anthem Country Club, and it was about a $2.5 million project, and we gutted this house out. And the clients moved from San Diego, and they basically just wanted the lot because it overlooked all Las Vegas. It was just a gorgeous lot. So we gutted the house out, started from scratch, and we put, as you can see, the terrazzo flooring. We put terrazzo flooring throughout, which the flooring itself was over $100,000. And then we used walnut, like a black walnut, on all the ceilings throughout the kitchen, the great room, the bedroom. And these are only a few of the photos of the house because I only have 5 minutes. And anyway, we worked with a really great team, Merlin Contracting. Mark Johnson was the architect. It was just a wonderful house to work on. We're not showing the bathroom, but in the bathroom, there was a copper bathtub that we had shipped over from Portugal. And the tub itself was $25,000 just for this bathtub. I wish I had the picture on here, but it was beautiful. And Michael, can you, next screen? Michael?
There we go.
No, back. Okay, this was the before. No, back. This, Michael, okay, got it. This was the before photos of the house when we first walked in, and we just tore everything out. So anyway, you can go back, Michael. Okay, and then go ahead, next screen, Michael. Okay, this is, it looks like we're missing some of it over here. But anyway, this is a house that I just finished, and it was a Tow Brothers home. And this particular client was an existing client that had a 10,000 square foot home that I designed about 12, 15 years ago. They sold the house, they downsized to this 4,500 square foot Tow Brothers home. And once it closed, we just gutted the whole entire house out and started from scratch. And we put a Mediterranean natural oak wide plank flooring throughout the home. And there was marble, and we just redid everything. And again, on this particular client, we did not have a architect and general contractor because her husband was a general contractor, so he was able to do a lot of the work. But as you see this bar, it's a precious stone. And I think that bar itself, just for the slab, was like $14,000.
It's so pretty. Oh.
It was gorgeous. Yeah, it was absolutely stunning. And the theme of this house was modern farmhouse. So we did a lot of whites and blues, and we placed beams in the great room. And the kitchen's not showing, but the kitchen was all white marble and quartz. We're using a lot of quartz. Clients are getting away from granite and marble anymore because of the upkeep. And with the quartz now and the porcelain tiles, I mean, they're so beautiful. They just look just like stone. So I think that's all the pictures I have, but I work on residential design mostly, and I work on new home construction, remodels, one-room makeovers. And as far as commercial design, I've worked on law offices, surgery centers, doctor's offices, banks, veterinarian clinics. But most of my work is residential. And I've been very fortunate through this COVID period. I've been very, very busy. And it's not just me, the whole design industry is very busy because people are staying put. They're not traveling. They're looking at their homes and they're wanting to remodel. Or we have clients that are moving in from California and they're just buying these homes and they're just putting a ton of money in them. And I'm working on one project in Southern Highlands right now. And it started out as a $750,000 project. And now we're up to 2.5 million on the remodel. She wants a blue heron home, but she loves Southern Highlands. So again, we're working with a team. I'm working with Merlin Contracting and Mark Johnson, architect. And these homes take about 1.5 years from design stage to completion. So anyway, that's what I do. And another thing too is I have an increased interest in home offices. I'm working on one right now in Southern Highlands, and we install the project tomorrow, so we'll be complete tomorrow.
We expect pictures.
Yeah, I definitely will. I will. And on the blue and white modern farmhouse, we're waiting to have that professionally photographed until they get their backyard in. So they're having their pool put in and everything right now.
Oh, well, wonderful. Well, thank you, Diane. We've got a few more things on the program, but if you have questions for Diane, you can find her information in our business directory on our website.
Thank you, Linda.
You're welcome. Let's move on to some announcements from committees. Greg Townsend has come up with a great plan for our Youth Service Committee to work on attendance problems at McMillan Elementary. Greg, would you like to tell the group about that?
Sure thing. I think I'm off mute.
You are.
We reach out to the schools, our schools that we help with or helped with on a monthly or every 6 weeks, reached out to McMillan. What can Rotary do to help you and your kids? And instead of crickets, they started thinking. And they are having an attendance problem, even in the Zoom, of kids not being there or parents not facilitating it or so on. They've got all the technology in place or most of what they need. So we are going to help provide a little motivation for attendance. They will have a monthly award for attendance as a raffle or drawing out of those that can participate. I don't know if they've gone to perfect attendance or missing a day. And they will get a bicycle. And it'll be either a boy or girl, a helmet, and a lock, so that when they're out and about, they can make sure they have kept it. And then we have traditionally given bikes away on an annual basis once a year for the 2 of them in their graduation assemblies, which we didn't have last year. And to help motivate them for a full year, we will be giving away 2 tablets. They're smart tabs or whatever it is the kids get to learn on that they have to turn back in at the end of the year. We will have 2 kids that have very good attendance will be getting their own tablet sponsored by Summerlin Rotary and us and what we do. So we can't reach out and have a classroom with them, but we are definitely affecting our community. So that's what we're up to.
That's
Thanks
great.
for the opportunity.
Greg and Glenn Ritt and their committee have come up with some very innovative ways to support the youths of our community. And at our next morning meeting, we'll have a program from UNLV Fine Arts about another in-school program. Let's move on to Jill Branson to give us a little update on community service.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to start right now with what it is that we're doing with Canyon Vista Post-Acute, which is our new selected senior center for the month. And I dropped off some things yesterday, and they were just more than thrilled that we did that. I make an effort to go and see Lynn and Richard, and I give them cards and they fill them out, and then I take them. So if you can think of somebody else in our Rotary that may need me to go drop off cards and collect those so they have some way to participate, that would be awesome.
We have lots of cards.
I have a pile of them now. Thank you, Linda. And they need items such as nail polish, believe it or not, because they have no one coming in there. So they go in and individually, and the women just love having their nails done. And they like word puzzles, magazines, things like that. And then, of course, the notes and that thing. I took the artwork that we have been given through the kids, Uplifting Kids, and I had some pictures, I think you had them, Linda, of all the artwork, and they did a phenomenal job, and they made bracelets, all kinds of things, and so I gave some of that.
They'll attend, I think you said someone will attend the 20th meeting.
Yes, on the 20th.
Great.
We'll have them come. There's two sisters, and I'm not sure if they'll both be there, but one of them is quite the little networker, and she's like 12 or 13.
Well, she sounds like the mini you, right?
She's a mini me. So that, and then we do have a project coming up. I'll hurry really fast. And that's going to be the Vegas Valley Adventist Academy, which is through Kathy Stenberg, who is our photographer for our events and different things that we do. And it's an awesome project. And our first time of doing it is going to be on Nevada Day, October 30th. And we'll get some more information and I'll get that out there.
Well, that's a great joint project with the North Las Vegas Club. That's
right.
Wonderful. And Jill and her committee are doing such a great job. I gave a shout out to Dave Cabral during the networking portion of the meeting before we started for a terrific seminar. I think we all really enjoyed that. Dave, do you have anything planned for the future yet, or are you still working on that?
We are looking at doing something, hopefully for November. We don't have it really nailed down yet, but that's kind of what we're working. I got to get the committee back together again to figure out what we might do.
Okay.
Probably not a panel, more of just a seminar to help us through these times with our businesses.
Excellent. Mike Levy, would you like to give us an update on the wine raffle?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So far, as of this morning, we have sold $5,770 of tickets. And I want to appreciate, Linda and I appreciate every one of you who bought, sold, went out. There's still time, one more week.
That's right. And
So
we've
keep
had
on
probably
going.
the best participation in buying tickets from the club that we've ever had on a project, as long as I've been a member. And so, yeah, we have some time left. I have some of the wine already, but anyone else who has donated wine, if they could drop that by my house at some point, because I'll probably be the delivery girl. And we have invited a lot of people to join us that night because, as well as the wine raffle, we'll be awarding our Rotarian of the Month honor next week. And I'm looking to see.
How much are the tickets, Linda?
Tickets are $20, 3 for $50, 6 for $100. And on our website, there's a link to buy tickets.
I'll do that today.
Oh, that's so kind of you.
Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it there, Linda.
So in our fundraising, Michael Turner came up with the creative, making it FUN capitalized raising. We're trying to have some fun in our fundraising. One of our little projects is Ronald Summers, and he's on his 6th home now because he's such a brat. But we love little Ronnie, and he's making the rounds, and as we know, he can travel. So we have 3 minutes left for Happy Bucks. Does anybody have any announcements? And this is the 4-way test, Happy Bucks. After you make your announcement, you go to the website, you click on the Happy Buck, and you donate. That's how this works. Who's first? Well, Mike Levy, you're on the screen still. So are you happy about your upcoming haircut?
I don't know. I mean, you collected a bunch of money and I gave,
$65 so far. But we still see all that hair, so.
hey, I haven't had a haircut.
We probably expect a matching donation from you when that hair is gone. So just keep that in mind.
You trying to strong arm me?
Yep.
You mean like Ronnie Summers, where I had to get rid of him for $25?
You never know. He might be in the mail to California. Anybody else have happy bucks for us this year? Dave Cabral.
I do, yeah. I'll give a couple of happy bucks because among Sarah's first students was Chloe and Chesney, who she used to dog sit for when she was going to school, going to UNLV, and she was our top #1 dog sitter. So Chloe and Chesney will each donate a happy buck.
Isn't that sweet? That's wonderful. Anybody else?
This is Pat. I will donate some happy bucks because I found out last week I'm gonna be a grandpa.
Yay.
Oh, congratulations. That's wonderful.
In May. So yeah, very excited.
Little population explosion in the club. Anyone else?
Me.
Donate 5 happy bucks in recognition of the fact that instead of just doing Food Heroes once, the clubs across the valley will be turning Rotary Food Heroes into a permanent commitment. And we're going to be establishing a first Wednesday opportunity for Rotarians across the valley to deliver with dignity.
Oh, that's terrific. Thank you so much, Glenn. Jill Branson had a happy buck.
All right, I'm $5. I'll be given $5. Number one, really thank you so much, Sarah. That was a wonderful presentation. And also to everyone that's been so supportive in helping with the community service.
Oh, great. And I have happy bucks for for our big honors and for Glenn Ritt's terrific year as president and a club that was behind him all the way to win us the big awards. It's really something special. Just one more announcement. Tomorrow night is our board meeting, and anyone is welcome to attend the board meeting. It is on Zoom. And Michael, I think that's actually on the website, the way to come to the board meeting, correct?
Yes, that is correct. It's on the calendar.
Okay, and with that, it's time for the 4-way test. And Neil Roth, would you lead us, please?
Yes, I would. The 4-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you very much, sponsor Neil, and we're out of here.